Okay, here we go. So surface area and nets. There's a couple of things that we need to know about them. The first thing is, sorry, I had to get some socks from my dog's mouth. So the first thing is that we need to understand that the area, the surface area, is the area of the top or all of the outside parts of the shape. So we typically can sketch the three-dimensional figure as a net and then label each side. We need to find the area of each side because we're going to add. So remember, the sum needs to add the areas of each side, and that will be the total surface area of the figure. So if we look at number one is telling us that we have a surface area of this figure and that this side is 8 feet. So we might be wondering, well, if this side's 8 feet, how do we know what the rest of the sides are? As far as I can tell, this is a square. So if this side is 8 feet, all of the sides are 8 feet. So that means that we have a couple of things we can do. We have 8 feet, and that's 8 feet here as well. So the inside of this square is going to be 8 by 8, or 64 feet. So since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these, we have 64 times 6. We can add them all together if we want to do that. That's essentially how much we have. So we can do this longhand, or we can use a calculator. And doing this longhand, we find that 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 2 makes 38. So our surface area is 384 square feet, because area is always measured in square feet. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. This is the surface area of the figure represented by the net, and in this case we have 1, 2, 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. So again, we have to remember what we know about finding the area of a square or a rectangle, which is length times width. So here's going to be 6 times 12. And we can look that up. We can remember our multiplication table. 6 times 12 is 72. And that means we'll have 72 here as well, and 72 here as well. The area of the triangle. So the area of the triangle is going to be half of the base times the height. So in this case, our base right here is 6 inches. So it's going to be half of 6 times 5. And we can do that pretty easily. All we need to do is say, okay, well, half of 6 is 3. So this is going to be 3 times 5. I almost wrote down the answer, which is 15. So here is 15, and this one is 15 as well. So we have 2 problems. We have 3 times 72 plus 2 times 15. So using my calculator, I can figure out 3 times 72. And I don't have my calculator with me, which is good. So I'm going to do it down here. So 72 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 7 is 21. So this is 216 plus 2 times 15. So 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1, 2, so that's 30. So when we add those 2 things together, then we get 246 square inches. Okay? All right. Here we have the surface area of this square pyramid. I know it's a square because I can tell just, I guess, by looking at it. So we're looking at this. We've got this square here, and then we've got these triangles on each side. So we're going to have 4. So I can do this to draw it for myself. And that's what that shape looks like. So I need to figure out this one first. So this is going to be 8 by 8. So my square, the area of that square is length times width, which is going to be 8 times 8. The area of each of these is going to be 1/2 of the base times the height. So the base is 8. That can be over here as well. So essentially, I have 1/2 of 8 times 15. So now I have half of 8. So 8 divided by 2 is 4 times 15. So I can use my calculator, or I can come over here and say 15 times 4 gives me 4 times 5 is 20, and 4 plus 2 is 6. So I have 60. So now I know I have my square, which we said was 64. Well, and I guess we never answered that. So in here is 64. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. So I'm going to have the surface area is going to be 60 plus, no, I'm sorry. Nope, that's not correct. So I made a mistake there. I want 64 plus 4 times 60. 60 is this triangle here. So this is 60, all right? So I need 4 times 60. So 64 plus, well, I know 4 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24, and I'll add a 0 for that. So 240. Then I'm going to add these two together. So 240 plus 64, and I get 304. So my surface area of this figure is, I'm going to write it up here, surface area equals 304 centimeters square centimeters. Okay. All right, let's do this last one. So find the surface area of the figure. Emma's going to try to help us. Not cool, Emma. Stay away. Okay, we're going to do this one here. We've got 4 of this rectangular shape. We can see that if we just draw our lines here and here, okay? So we need 1 of these, we need 4 of these. So these are 6 by 13. So we're gonna have area is gonna equal 4 times 6 times 13 for each of those. And we're gonna have this end and this end. So this area is going to be 2 times 6 times 6. This is 6, this is 6. So the whole square at the end is 6 by 6. And we can see it even says 6 right here for this part and for this part. So here we have 6 times 6 is 36. So this one's going to be 2 times 36. This one, 6 times 13, I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and figure that out. And I've got 13, that would be 16. Uh-oh, let's try this again. 13 times 6. So 6 times 3 is 18, carry the 1, 6, so this is 78. Now I have to figure out how much that is multiplied by 4 for each side. So 4 times 8 times 4 is I didn't say it, did I? You guys are going to have to figure that out unless you're watching me. 4 times 7. Okay, so I figured out what this one is. And now we're going to have to figure out what 2 times 36 is. Once you figured those two things out, then you're going to add them all together. So our surface area of this shape is 312 plus 72. So 384 square inches. Okay, so that is our first page. So remember, it's a really good idea to hang on to this and take a look at it as you go through the next page, because chances are you're going to have some really similar problems on your extra practice page. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our extra practice page. So here I am going to do, well, we have 8 of them, so I'm probably going to do about 3. You guys are going to have to do the others on your own, so let's see if we can't figure that out, all right? I'll leave you with some, hopefully that will be not too hard to understand. Let's try this one first. You can use it as an example, all right? So here we have squares. We've got 2 squares of the same size. This is 2 by 2. This one is also 2 by 2. So I know that if I do my area, which is length times width, then I'm going to say 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. So we're going to have 4 here and 4 here. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles. So I'm going to solve one rectangle, and then I'm going to multiply that number by 3. So I know that this one is 4 inches by 2 inches. So over here, I'm going to say the area of this one is 4 by 2. So 4 times 2 is 8, and I've got 8, 8, 8, and 8. So I now have my surface area is going to be equal to 2 times 4, that accounts for this one and this one, plus 1, 2, 3, 4 times 8. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 4 times 8, which is 32. So my surface area for this particular figure is 40 square inches. Okay,